So a high-risk disclaimer, just have a quick read of, and then we will start with today's Commodities Corner. Hello and welcome everybody to today's Commodities Corner, presented by myself, Phil Carr, at the Gold and Silver Club. We've got a lot to cover with you during today's session. We just had the non-farm payroll numbers come in about an hour and a half ago. We'll go through those, go through that data. We'll go through what we're expecting now as we head into the US session this afternoon. And also, of course, on Sunday, we have the second round of the French elections as well. So there is lots to cover with you today. We'll be going through a watch list of trading opportunities, a forecast of where we expect gold, silver, oil to be heading next, answering questions, and of course, providing live support as well. So let me introduce you to the Gold and Silver Club. The Gold and Silver Club is the #1 commodities trading and investment coaching company. We're regarded as the go-to authority on commodities trading, as internationally respected experts. Our analysis and our opinions on the metals, the energies, and the agricultural markets, they're routinely sought by major financial television channels and publications, which include Bloomberg, Reuters, CNBC, the Financial Times, the Wall Street Journal. For further information on the Gold and Silver Club and our expertise, please go to www.thegoldandsilverclub.com. Okay, so before we get into it and before we start having a look through the markets, just go through the 1 week relative performance so far over the past week, just to give you an idea of some of the moves that we've seen in the market. So we've certainly seen sell in May, as they say, and go away has played out over the course of the first week here of May. We've had a lot of red across the board. That includes WTI crude oil, which is down over 7%. Brent crude oil, which is down over 6%. We've got silver, which is down 5%. Sugar down 3.7%. Gold down 3%. So we've certainly seen some big moves. We've got, or have seen some gains here on the stock markets. We've seen the NASDAQ over the past week breaking out to all-time highs. The DAX as well has been quite strong. We've seen a relatively muted move on the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones over the course of this week. But overall, we've seen stability within the equity markets. But we have seen some selling opportunities here, particularly for commodities, which I'll run you through when we go over to the charts. Now, we've had the non-farm payrolls data, which has just come out about an hour and a half ago, and overall, the expectations has been in line and, in fact, slightly above market expectations. So the average hourly earnings hit expectations at 0.3%. The non-farm payroll data was above expectations at 211,000 versus 185,000, which was predicted. The private non-farm payrolls, they're above expectations, and the unemployment rate was considerably above expectations. It dropped down to 4.4% from 4.6%. So as a result of that, we have seen some weakness in the precious metals, weakness in gold and silver. The S&P 500 is close to breaking out to all-time highs, which we'll take a look at shortly. Oil has had a retracement after a very significant drop this week, where it's dropped over 7% over the last week. Now, what I would be aware of as we go into the US session today is at 4:30 we have another FOMC member speaking. We've got actually a couple more FOMC members speaking at both 4:30 and also 5:45 p.m. today. We've got the US Baker Hughes oil rig count, which can definitely move oil at 6 o'clock London time. Janet Yellen is scheduled to speak at 6:30, so definitely we can get some volatility on that. And again, another FOMC member is due to speak at 6:30. So overall, we've got 3 FOMC members speaking, Janet Yellen and the US Baker Hughes oil rig count. So volatility is certainly not over for today. We could see a little bit more chop here over the course of the next 3.5 hours. And then, of course, we need to, or you want to be positioning yourself, getting ready for the results of the second round of the French election on Sunday, which could create sizable opportunities in the market. So we'll break it down for you. We'll talk you through how we are positioning ourselves and what we are looking at as we go into the Sunday open as well. Now, just to give you an idea, over this quarter, what sort of opportunities there are, which are scheduled announcements. So, of course, we've got the second round of the French election, which is coming up this Sunday, and we have the OPEC meeting, which will likely significantly impact oil prices at the end of the month. We've got that on Friday, the 26th of May in Vienna, Austria. So that will create some volatility for oil, likely some good opportunities. As we head into June, we've got the UK election, another FOMC statement, which could be a big market mover as well. Actually, the FOMC statement in June is on Wednesday, the 14th of June. And then we have Janet Yellen delivering her semi-annual testimonial in July as well, which often creates a lot of volatility too. So those are just a few of the scheduled news items we've got coming up over May, June and July, where we could see a lot of market volatility and opportunities as well. So with that, we'll go over to the charts. We will be talking you through two types of trade again, which is the higher and lower trade on binary.com. Very simply, the way to utilize this type of trading, it's very straightforward, because all you really need to get correct is the direction of the market, the entry price, of course, and also the timing when you come out of the position. So whether you want to time a trade over several hours, 1 hour, 2 hour, 5 hours, I would suggest at the moment, particularly with the volatility coming up over the course of the weekend with the French elections on Sunday, ideally I'm looking to be in and out of trades today. So just any fresh entries, getting in and out of positions today, and then just being flat again and ready for trading opportunities off the Sunday open. So that's the way we're positioning ourselves at the moment, just being very nimble, coming in and out of trades quickly today, and then on and then on Sunday, we'll be looking to take advantage of more opportunities. Now, the way it works with higher and lower type of trades, which I'm sure a lot of you are aware of already, but if you're not aware of this, essentially all you need to do is select your start time, select the market, of course, start time, the duration of the trade, the payout that you want, and then it will show you what that would equate to in terms of your net profit or your purchase here as well, and then the net profit on that. So for example, for a 5-hour trade on gold for a payout of £5,000, the stake is £2,843.26 for a payout of 5,000, and therefore you would be getting a return of 75.9 on your deposit. For a trade to be lower, for a stake of £2,853.01, you get a payout of 5,000 with a return on the invested trade there of 75.3%. Okay, so just to give you an idea of how it works, what is good about this is it's very transparent. You know how much you're risking up front, so you're very aware of that before you place a trade. You don't need to put a stop loss in the market. You don't need to put a take profit in the market. All you need to get right is the overall direction, and the price needs to close higher in your direction, of course, if you're going for a higher trade, or lower in your direction if you're going for the price to be lower over the specified time frame. Okay, so with that, guys, let's go over to technical analysis and trading. As always, we will keep it very flexible. So any questions, any comments, do post those. Feel free to post those into the chat. Okay, so if there are any comments at all, please feel free to put those in the chat, and we will go through those during the course of today's analysis. So with that, I will share my screen with you. You should be able to see that very shortly. Okay. Okay, just a very quick check-in, guys. You can still hear me okay on the audio. Yeah, you can still see my screen okay as well. Okay, so a little note here as well. The Sunday, of course, French election result, just so you're aware of that. As we go into Sunday, we're going to see a volatility. So what we'll do, we'll actually start off with silver today, because silver is a market you should have on the radar right now. Silver has had quite a significant correction over this month so far. So over a 5% move to the downside in May alone. So sell in May and go away has certainly played out so far within the first few days of May here. From a seasonal point of view, this is very typical as we get towards the end of April, as we go into May, to see these sort of corrections. This has been quite a severe correction, actually, for silver. From its lows here going back to the end of December to the swing highs here at the end of February, silver has now corrected 76.4%. It is currently sat at an important level. It is definitely short-term oversold. So that is very apparent from where the price structure is at the moment, but it's not at a level where buyers are really coming in at this point. We would need to see more confirmation, more support in order to consider going long. I'd need to see a breakout above certainly today's high next week, or a gap on the open, which would get above all of this consolidation. So normally when silver reaches a bottom, when it starts to base out, same for gold as well, you would expect some sort of a consolidation, a spike low, but then a consolidation. Normally it's not over the sell-off whilst it's continuing to get consecutive lower highs, lower lows, and it's got this sort of acceleration to the downside. It's unlikely to suddenly turn around in price and give the most amazing buying opportunity at this point. I think that is unlikely. I think what we'll do is we'll probably chop around here The downside risk at the moment is whether silver, the downside risk being to potentially turning into a bear market if silver was to come down and break through its lows here from December and then take out the swing lows and continue that pattern downwards. That would represent quite an important technical breakdown in price. That would mean that we are taking out this overall upward trend, which has started to form this monthly channel, which has been in place going back to 2005. We're testing the limits of this channel at the moment, which is either an amazing buying opportunity or it's about to break down a lot lower. So this is the monthly chart at the moment. If it holds here, it could represent a really good buy in the days and the weeks to come here around this 16 level at the moment. So we need to see how the price structure develops. Maybe the French elections on Sunday will be a wild card and we will see significant move to the upside and we'll start to see the metals bottom out from here. But at the moment, the non-farm payroll data has come in stronger than expected, and therefore I would expect short-term weakness for gold and silver. They're oversold, but just because they're oversold doesn't mean you should be buying them at this time right now, because they can still break down lower. If you will go over to oil shortly, but oil has been oversold since about Wednesday this week. Has been quite significantly oversold, and it didn't stop it from breaking down another $3 yesterday. So you just need to be a little bit careful on that side. So what would I look at the moment in terms of trading opportunities? Well, I would actually cast your attention over to equities. The S&P 500 is on the brink of a potential breakout. The opening bell was about 45 minutes ago, and we can see it's starting to pick up the pace here. So we're sitting right near the resistance zone and near the highs of this year, and also the all-time highs as well. What's been very impressive about equities in the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones is that even off the back of oil dropping down over 7%, the fact that the S&P 500 and the Dow Jones, they held very strong, and there's a number of oil companies comprised of the S&P 500, and if you go back to a year ago where we saw a significant decline, that would usually lead to the S&P 500 breaking down alongside oil. That correlation has not been the case over the most recent decline in oil, which suggests that if oil gets some sort of a snapback rally, that we could see further gains here on the S&P. So if we go over to oil, oil is starting to retrace a little bit. You can see, in fact, this capitulation, which is forming at the moment on the daily charts, this snapback in price. UK oil, actually same situation at the moment, both Brent and UK oil capitulating right now. So we've come down to major areas of support. You can see here on the trend channel where it's actually quite accurate here, where it's coming down to an oversold condition, capitulation on the daily chart. I'm really curious to see how oil is going to close on the weekly here, because it has done some chart damage on the weekly. If it has a mega retracement today and can get all the way back up within this channel, we could start to see a turnaround in price. But this is quite a strong retracement so far. If we have a look at that, it's about 230-point retracement. That was quite a strong overshoot to the downside here on oil. I'll come back to that shortly. I just want to just finish off on equities, but essentially I'm looking for the potential of follow through here on the S&P 500 if it breaks above the 2,400 level today. Looking to be in and out relatively quickly. Don't really want to hang about with a trade here as we go into the French elections at the weekend. Would like to be in and out before the close here for any additional positions on this market. Bear in mind right now we're seeing strong moves in the DAX. DAX is breaking out again, already broken above yesterday's high. The Nasdaq this week broke out to all-time highs again. We've seen the French stocks are really getting a move on there. Seem to be pricing in a Emmanuel Macron win right now. I mean, we're seeing quite a significant surge again here on French stocks. The Dow Jones is consolidating near the highs here. S&P 500 is looking quite strong, and also Apple is looking like it's about to break above its highs here as well. So it's just worth bearing that in mind at the moment. I'm looking for the potential for a breakout on equities right now. This oil retracement has just got going within the last hour, and that's quite impressive actually. So let's look at Brent crude oil. That big rejection candle on the daily chart could be noteworthy. We are certainly in a short-term oversold condition. We're getting this snapback in price for oil right now, which is to be expected given that it really overshot to the downside yesterday. So you want to be careful, of course, of shorting oil at the moment. I wouldn't suggest that you want to be selling oil after it had a considerable breakdown. It's dropped 7% within a week, which is a very big move here on oil short term. So it's taken out underlying support. A lot of traders would have got margin called or stopped out on this breakdown who would have been long oil. There's not many traders who would have been able to withstand that if they've got into buy positions right at the highs here, going through such a deep correction in price here within just a couple of weeks. You can see it's corrected almost 900 points here, so you need deep stop losses in order to withstand that sort of correction on oil to the downside. And it's been interesting because we haven't really seen from the commitment of traders data, it's not been the case that we've seen a lot of sellers in this market. It's more traders getting stopped out of their buy positions, which has caused liquidation and has caused this big move lower in oil, where we've really come down and broken down to the lows of December 2016. So it is short-term oversold. We could get a snapback rally here short-term. I would be a bit careful and nimble on oil at the moment if you're considering positions on this right now, which is ideal again for binary because you don't need a big stop loss if you're trading it via binary. You can just get in and out within shorter time frames. You can look at the lower time frames as well. You can drop it down to, for example, the 1 hour, which is starting to pick up some momentum to the upside. Another pivot just above here, so you can look for some breakout opportunities. The 4 hour is not bad to look at as well. You might get a retracement back towards the upper end of this trend channel short term, break the pivot. Next move would be the upper end of this channel. So you can look out for more shorter term moves if you're trading that via binary and taking advantage of the 1 hour, 30-minute, or the 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hour trades. We've got the US Baker Hughes oil rig count coming out later today at 6 o'clock London time. So that will be just within under 3 hours. More recently, that has resulted in more weakness in oil because the rig count keeps on going up, which suggests we've got, well, which means essentially there's going to be there's going to be more oil rigs essentially, which creates more supply in the market, which normally has provided weakness over the last few Fridays after 6 o'clock once that data comes out. But you might have still about 2 or 3 hours to take advantage of a retracement higher before that data comes out. So we're watching oil very carefully. Gold, I haven't discussed gold yet, so gold, I would look to gold versus the euro. Gold versus the euro looking pretty weak here. It's been tanking and leading the way lower here with gold versus the US dollar. So gold euro does lead gold versus the US dollar. Recently, gold euro was the first one to break down off the back of the first round of the French election. Gold euro gapped down 300 points, continue to break down, broke through the 200-day moving average, more downside, already taken out its swing low going back to March, and it's looking quite weak here. Again, 76% Fibonacci level sits at 1,111 here. We're not far off that. It's already broken below yesterday's low, and you've had a big V-shaped reversal pattern, which is broken down. Short term, it is a little bit oversold, so I would be careful here on gold, shorting gold, especially going into the French elections at the weekend, just in and out of trades more quickly. The equivalent here of gold euro, it's already taken out the swing low on the left there. If gold versus the US dollar does the same, it will be the equivalent of gold versus the US dollar breaking down to about 1,195 US dollars, or the 1,200 level, if it follows gold euro's move lower here as well. Short term, it's a bit oversold here. We've been selling gold throughout the past week here after it broke through major support. So we've been taking advantage of the breakdown in price here over the course of this week. And now we're just gearing up for the French elections. We're not really seeing too much movement on gold versus the US dollar off the back of the non-farm payrolls. It's been relatively muted at the moment. I think more movement is likely to occur in equities, and also oil today seems to get a lot of, it's getting bid back up pretty fast. In fact, I'll bring you back over to UK oil, which I'll just show you at the moment. It's actually just broken the pivot here as well. So this is really ramping up now. I'll show you 1 hour time frame. It's just broken within the time I've been speaking. It's just broken through this pivot on the 1 hour. So you can see V-shaped reversal pattern on the 1 hour. Go over to the 4 hour. We've got some more upside there, shorter term. So I would look at very short-term trades here on oil at the moment, taking advantage of these short-term retracements. It's definitely oversold. It's within an area of where you would typically expect oil to snap back. However, it's worth noting that also oil was oversold this week. When it was at the 50 level, it was also oversold, and it still managed to break down considerably lower. We could look at this two ways, either playing a short-term retracement higher, which it's building momentum already, or wait for the next retest of overhead resistance if that's a failed move and we see a potential to get short, especially based on the weekly chart, which is now making quite strong, significant chart damage unless it can retrace higher than 50 today, which would be a big ask, but it could happen. Unless it retraces higher than that, what we could see is a goodbye kiss. So it comes back up, retests previous level of support, which turns into resistance, turns around and sells off. We might look to play it that way as we go into next week. Short-term momentum is quite in favor of a higher retracement here. US oil as well picking up quite a lot of momentum. That's a pretty big rejection candle, capitulation actually on the daily chart. If that really continues to follow through today, we might see good follow through going into next week. That's ramping up very fast to the upside. So traders who've been selling in this market would start to probably take some profits off the table on this retracement, and some traders also trying to catch a bottom here as well. So we're seeing quite a fast retracement on oil. Again, the Baker Hughes oil recount will be coming out in 3 hours time. Gold relatively muted at the moment. Gold really not doing too much. It's just sitting around support. But I would also take a look at, for those of you who trade it, the S&P 500, which right now is sitting at the upper end of this resistance. If that can break out in the same way that we are seeing French stocks break out today, surging, we're seeing the DAX break out at the moment as well, just broken above the previous day's high. I would look for the potential for the S&P 500 to do the same. Last market we'll take a look at is going to be platinum. Platinum is sitting near its key levels of support here, which is around 900 zone. So it'll come all the way back to the swing low from the beginning of December. Could represent a really good buying opportunity, but only if we see buying at this level and follow through and we see a bounce from this zone. I would be a little bit careful here at the moment until we see more confirmation, but it could be a good buying opportunity as we go into next week for a longer term trade. It depends how it closes today, but I'll just put that on your radar as well, guys. So a lot happening as we go into the Friday close later on today. Of course, the French elections at the weekend could be a really big catalyst here for the next moves. We'll be looking forward to trade that. If you would like to join us, if you enjoyed today's live analysis and you want more of this, if you'd like to join our live trading rooms during the week, if you'd like to know the exact entry, exit, the take profit levels, all the trades that we get into at the Gold and Silver Club, if you'd like all of that information, if you'd like to become a member, get access to our private members academy, all of our resources at the Gold and Silver Club, all you need to do is go to www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com. www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com, complete the application and we will get in touch with you ASAP. So it's www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com. If you enjoyed today's analysis, you want this more regularly during the week, you want access to our week ahead trading plans as well. Essentially what you get by being a member of the Gold and Silver Club, access to our trading strategies, all of our online training courses, you get our live trading rooms during the week, a recording of every session, trade setups ready to implement, notifications so you're not missing out on trades, the details of where we enter, exit, take profit, the inside track, a week ahead trading plan and a watch list for the week ahead, and access to our private traders academy members website as well. So again, that's www.jointhegoldensilverclub.com. Okay, fantastic. So with that, guys, have a great weekend. Good trading. We'll definitely catch you back here on the next one and look forward very much to hear from those of you who make an application to join us at the Gold and Silver Club. Okay, fantastic. All the best, guys. Speak very soon.